The tariff thing is a big deal. I don't know if you saw over the weekend, but there's been a lot of blowback from farmers. We played you last week a bit of the reaction that farmers have had with Congress people who are down in Arkansas, and they are getting immense pushback because of the president's policies. They're in real trouble. Farmers are way, way underwater. And so Donald Trump addresses tariffs, and he did this on his Fox and Friends appearance.
I mean, we've done a great job, despite the fact that we should have lower interest rates. Now, we have two things. We've been successful because of the tariffs. It's given us a great power to negotiate with other countries that took advantage of us. Tremendous power. Also, it's brought in trillions of dollars into our country. We have a big case brought by foreign governments because the foreign governments have been ripping us off for years, and it's now in the Supreme Court. That case is really important to win because it's made us a rich country. It's made us a rich country because I don't want to call it retribution, but we've been ripped off.
Trying to rebalance.
We've been ripped off for years by countries and by having presidents that were not smart in a business sense. I'm not saying they were good politicians, but they were stupid businessmen. They allowed the world to rip us off. If we don't, that Supreme Court case is so important. And frankly, this economy, if we win the tariff case, which we should on the legal merits, but on common sense merit, we would have to give back trillions of dollars
to these countries.
What can you imagine?
All those deals.
We would have to give back trillions and trillions of dollars because we got it because of tariffs.
Let me just give you a note of reality. It's not trillions and trillions of dollars. It's not even $1 trillion. What is it, Kim? It's like 150 billion, a couple $100 billion. What is it?
Hold on, I'm Googling.
It's as though Kim didn't know that I was going to ask her
I
this
knew
question.
you were going to. I was writing news. Come on.
Oh, is that it? I see. Anyway, I will tell you that it's not trillions
Kim,
and
how are
trillions
you?
of dollars. So the idea somehow that you have to return trillions and trillions of dollars, or more to the point, it's not a question of returning it. I mean, there will have to be money returned. There'll be lawsuits, and there'll be a number of ways in which that money will be clawed back. But more to the point of at least what he's saying, it's not even $1 trillion. So the idea,
the United States has collected $142 billion
Yeah, there
from
you
tariff revenue so far this fiscal year,
Yeah,
which ends
so-
in September. So it's $142 billion.
Meanwhile, Arkansas farmers saying they are on the verge of a crisis. They're asking for financial help from the feds. We told you this last week, and we played you some of the statements made, impassioned pleas to the federal government for help. Arkansas leads the nation in rice production, ranks among the top states for cotton, soybeans, and poultry. But fallout from President Trump's tariffs have hurt the market for what they grow there, and some commodity prices are down. And things that the farmers buy to make their crops viable, they're more expensive as well. And essentially what you have is a bunch of farmers who are going under because they have bought against their farm. They have leveraged a lot of these purchases they need to make with farm loans that are leveraged against their farms. The one thing that is seldom talked about is that there are groups of investors who are hovering, and they're hovering around these farming communities, not literally, but they are watching, because as these farmers go under and as these agricultural areas become available, they'll swoop in and get everything for a song. Distressed farmers will have to sell. And many of those who now populate this administration and high-end Wall Streeters, they will swoop in and make these purchases. That's a fact. And so that's the other, I would say, untold story here. Now, as mentioned before, I feel like I mentioned it maybe last week when we were talking about this, during the first Trump administration, the soybean farmers were distressed during that time as well, because their biggest customer, China, has been cut off to them. It was cut off during that first Trump administration. So Trump issued checks to all of those farmers so as not to earn their ire, not to have them peed off at him, right? And so that was a way that he essentially bought out of the anger that those farmers felt. Now we have the same situation. We have China, big customer for American soybean farmers. Only China, because of the tariffs, they've already found a different way to do business. They're going to Brazil for a lot of these soybeans. And so the only reason that China is even remotely interested in playing ball with Donald Trump on tariffs and on American farming that has to do with soybeans is simply because there can be an interruption in the supply chain from Brazil. They're noted for dock strikes. There are a bunch of sort of labor problems that can happen in Brazil, and they don't want that to interrupt the flow of soybeans to China. And so that's the reason that China is kind of still playing ball with Trump on tariffs, at least as it relates to agricultural products. It's a real distressing situation for American farmers, and the tariffs really don't serve anybody positively. And most of all, that propaganda, which you get away with completely unchecked on Fox News Channel, where he says it's brought in trillions and trillions of dollars. How do hosts sit there and let him say that stuff? Even if you don't know the actual numbers the way we do, that we knew it was 150 billion or something like that, 200 billion at the max. And as Kim said, it's 145 billion. Okay.
142.
So even if you don't know that, it's not trillions. It's not trillions and trillions. These conversations that the president has, these conversations that other lawmakers and high-profile people have, they go completely unchecked. But that one is just like a sitter, man. You don't need to know anything to know that was BS. And yet he just, la-di-da.
We talked about a lot last week, the arrest of all the South Koreans at the Hyundai factory.
Sure.
And now Trump is saying, hey, listen, foreign workers are welcome in America. He says he doesn't want to disincentivize investment after images of workers chained and handcuffed cause widespread alarm in South Korea, and that foreign workers are welcome here. And I wondered, and I had a question for you, is that Trump saying, oops, my bad, I'm sorry, we shouldn't have arrested the South Korean workers who were here at the Hyundai plant, especially when South Korea is set to invest a massive sum of money into America as far as industry?
Yeah, hundreds of billions of dollars is what we're talking about. And yeah, I think it is. I think that Marco Rubio, or whoever actually is doing any of the lift diplomatically, they have some explaining to do and apologizing to do. So I agree. Yeah, I think very much that's Trump's way of saying, foreign workers are welcome here. But I also have to say that you would think Kristi Noem might apprise Trump of the planned raid of a major plant. This is a huge plant that is there in Georgia as part of a reconstituting of that community. They're not this isn't a small effort, as you say. It's part of an infusion of tremendous capital. Yeah. This is a rural community. It was going to transform the whole community. And now the plant's closed down. So, yeah, I think Trump on some level is trying to communicate, we're on the same page now. But he's going to have to figure out more than just picking up the phone. He's going to have to figure out paperwork that will allow for these workers to be here, which is always what we've wanted. Because the idea somehow that, they've got to come in, Mark, they've got to come in the legal way, they've got to get online like everybody else, that won't work. It takes a decade to become someone who's approved here in America. A decade to become a citizen. It may take a fraction of that, but a significant fraction. It might take 4 years to get a work permit. And it's money. It's expensive. It just doesn't make sense. So you need to okay these workers. You need to broaden the parameters by which you allow this workforce in, and you have to be far more aggressive about it. Otherwise, you're going to see what's happening. I mentioned the farmers. Farmers are going under because they don't have labor. They don't have labor, and they've got tariffs to deal with. They are going under by the scores. You've got a major plant, as Kim just mentioned, in Georgia. That's closed now. You have agricultural fields in California that we spoke of in the last few weeks that are going to be challenged when it comes to any kind of reasonable harvest. There just isn't the labor there. And healthcare and childcare and so on. So I get it. It's fun to wear the Oakleys, to have your vest on, it says ICE. You and your glorified nightclub bouncers that jump out of vans and wrap people up. Some 52-year-old gardener, you throw him to the pavement. It's awful and brutal, and it will destroy the American economy. Absolutely will destroy it.
Korea's trade unions are calling on Trump to issue an official apology. That's not happening. I think the closest he's getting to "my bad, I'm sorry" is this quote: "We welcome them," said Trump. "We welcome their employees. We are willing to proudly say we will learn from them and do even better than them at their own game sometime in the not too distant future." That's your apology.
Oh, that is just the not too distant future thing is like one of his great moves. You know, in 2 weeks, I'll have the announcement as to what I'm, it's unreal. I had a great run on that. I'll give it to you for tomorrow because it's just, his ability to kind of park it on down the way is extraordinary. But people are, and particularly these sectors of the economy that I've mentioned, farming and the like, they are losing patience with that since nothing really does happen. He's just, kicking the can on down the way. He's not going to worry about it. It makes the news cycle. He deals with it. Oh, yeah, we've got a plan for that. I'm going to be announcing it in the next couple of weeks, and you'll be very happy with it. And then, of course, it just gets kicked down.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.